Can you smell what Yemmy is cooking?
I'm actually cooking chicken and dumplings in the ye old crock pot. So if you can smell it, I'm relatively concerned about my safety right now. But hey, it's me, Yemmy the Ferret. That doesn't work. It's me, Yemmy the Ferret, aka Yemmy, aka DJ Yemmy. And welcome to YemmyCast, a video game podcast hosted by me, Yemmy the Ferret. We got a lot to talk about today, including but not limited to my favorite albums of 2018. There's this little tiny story about Bungie breaking up with Activision. Oh, touches my heart. Battlefield 5 has a big update coming, which actually released today, which is Tuesday, recording this on Tuesday the 15th. And also, we have an update on the gaming grandma. All that and so much more coming along today in YemmyCast, a video game podcast. First up, we're going to be talking about my favorite albums of 2018. Yemmy, that's not news or video games. Piss off, mate. I'll talk about what I fucking want to, and I decided that today would be a great day to talk about my favorite albums. I've been listening to these albums religiously for the past few days to make sure that I got exactly what I want into this list. And this was actually the hardest freaking list I've had to make in a long ass time. Like, this was a really tough one. These top 5 albums I have on here just... oh my gosh, they were so difficult to get into an order that I was like, yes, I believe this. Because they're all really good. All these albums on this list are really good. So let's just jump into it because we do have a lot to talk about today, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. But first up, coming in at number 10 is a band called Tribulation, and the album is called Down Below. This is an album that I recently got introduced to a few months ago, and I really like the sound of this album. I feel like it's a really nice heavy metal with some really grumbly, growling vocals. Now, I will say this, some of the vocals, actually most of the vocals, I don't feel like they work with within the confines of the band. Like, I feel like the band has a different sound than what the vocalist wants, so they're kind of dueling a little bit, which kind of brings the album down in my opinion. But my enjoyment of the album is sky high. I like this album. I feel like it's a great album. But, you know, it's 10th place worthy, so take that with a grain of salt. And if you don't like my music, you can fuck off, mate. Fuck off. Did I mention that YemmyCast, the video game podcast, is number 1 rated by Chronoside? I mean, that just makes my heart flutter. All right, well, let's move on to number 9. Number 9 comes from Nekrogoblikon, and their album is called Welcome to Bonkers. This is an album that you expect from Nekrogoblikon. I mean, it's a nice blend of comedy with black metal, with a little bit of pop in there, just to spice things up, you know, just a little pinchy of salt. A lot of these songs on this album just, I mean, holy shit. I mean, you got so many hits on here. And my favorite one is called Row. It combines some really weird synth stuff in the middle of it, but the ending is just so heavy and hardcore. I love it to death. This band prides itself on, you know, being a goblimaniacs. They're goblins, you know, and their lead dude in the band actually dresses up as a goblin. He doesn't sing or anything. He just runs around the stage and hypes up the crowd. But, I mean, a lot of these songs on this album are hard-hitting. They're amazing. They're well done. Like I said, they have a perfect blend of that comedy along with being legit musicians. And you kind of start to wonder if, you know, if is the meme worth it? And I say yes, it is totally worth it. This album sounds so amazing. It flows so well. There's not much that you can say about this album that's negative. But it is this far down the list because it is Nekrogoblikon. You know, they're not as serious as some of the other ones, other bands that I listen to, of course, but I still appreciate their music and love them to death. Coming in at number 8 is a band called Bitch Hawk, and the album is called Joy. Now, this is an album that not a lot of people are going to like. This is an album that a lot of people are going to go, wow, this sounds like garbage. This, I mean, I can't understand what the guy's saying. I can't hear the instruments, but goddamn, is it catchy as hell. Bitch Hawk has made a stellar album. They actually made 2 albums this year, but this one is 10 million times better than the first album they put out. But this one was released at the end of 2018, and I mean, every song on this album has something nice to it. It has a nice, unique feel to it, but I think that the number one song on this one is the last song, which is called Joy. It has this really weird thing going on where it goes faster and slower throughout the song, and I just really appreciate that difference. You know, that it's something different that happens. If you look at this album, I mean, the cover kind of speaks for itself, but it is heavily dirty vocals, lots of screaming, lots of really distorted stuff going on. The drums pretty heavy. Of course, I can't really play any of these songs or artists because, you know, copyright reasons. Don't want to be taken down while talking about my favorite things in the world. I love music. I take music very seriously. If you don't believe me, just look at how much I hate Papa Roach. And moving on is number 7, and number 7 is the band's called Aviations, and the album is called The Light Years. This album has a very nice feel to it, very nice sound to it. It's very melodic. The guitar parts and stuff are very, very melodic. A lot of the songs blend together very, very, very well. This is one of the only albums on this list that has songs that blend so well together you kind of forget where one starts and one stops, you know? I love the vocals in this band. They're not entirely dirty. There's a lot of nice melodic singing in there. They kind of remind me of an early Periphery. If you know Periphery now, they've kind of totally axed any screamo or anything like that. Like, there's barely any songs on the albums, even though the vocalist is very talented. And the vocalist in what the fuck did I just say, that band, Periphery, he can go up and down like a freaking devil and Satan, you know? Like, there's no reason why he can't. What was I saying? But yeah, this album is very nice. Everything fuses together very well. Thank you to Randy for really train wrecking my train of thought. Oh, that was a lot of T's in that sentence. All right, moving on to number 6. The band is called High on Fire, and the album is Electric Messiah. Electric Messiah is an album that sounds kind of like 2 different bands had marital love, not out of marriage love. This is marital love, and this is the child that came out. High on Fire is like an early Mastodon sounding band that seems to be influenced a lot by, what's that band called? The Wire? What's that band? Red Fang. Very influenced by Red Fang, or very similar to Red Fang, and also like an early Mastodon. So a lot of the vocals sound a lot like a Mastodon singer, but the guitar parts and stuff like that sound a lot like Red Fang, where it's kind of like, you know, a lot of droning, heavy, low hits on the guitar and bass, and the drums are pretty basic throughout most of the songs. The only thing that you might not like about this is there's a few songs that go for a very long time, but I love the work of the drummer in these longer songs. There's some songs that have double bass pedal that I'm like freaked out by because it's such a weird double bass pedal beat. And I think that the only thing that brings this album down and why it's not higher on the list is because there's a few guitar solos in here that are just very, very out of place. I really don't know what the guitarist was thinking. Maybe he thought it sounded good, but I don't think that a lot of the guitar solos sound that great on this one. But the rest of the album is golden. I mean, it's amazing. And moving on to number 5, which this may be a huge, like, jaw-dropping moment to everyone. But next up is Dance Gavin Dance and their album Artificial Selection. Now, I know what you're thinking. You love, I do. I love Dance Gavin Dance. Dance Gavin Dance is one of my favorite. I mean, it probably is my favorite band out there. But Artificial Selection is one of those albums where it started off really, really good. Like, so good that the rest of the album just kind of starts to fall apart after the 7th song on the album. I really just feel like a lot of the other songs on here could be dropped off the album. A lot of times when I listen to music, whether it's just driving around for work or sitting at home, I listen to an album all the way through, and I get to about the eighth song on this album, and I go, I want to listen to something else right now. Even though most of the songs after that aren't bad, they're not horrible. That's why they're so far up, why this band is so far up in the list, because the songs are still good. I just don't feel like they form together as well as their last album, Mothership. Like, Mothership, all those songs kind of had a story to tell, and they all kind of fell together, but when you're listening to the Artificial Selection, there's one song where the guy's screaming about sucking champagne out of a pussy. I don't understand the meaning behind it, but I guess that's kind of what Dance Gavin Dance does. But that's why they're at number 5 on the list here. And coming in at number 4, it's Erra with their album Neon. I love this album. Neon is an amazing album. I feel like this is the culmination of work that they've been leading up to. If there was anything that I hated or didn't like about Drift, which was their last album, it would be that the guitar parts were too monotonous. The guitar parts sounded too similar. Those melodic sounding parts in Drift, it's kind of like that feeling of listening to Hail to the King by Avenged Sevenfold. Like, it sounds cool at the beginning, and then once you get 3 minutes into the song and they're still playing the same thing, you go, okay, this can stop now. But Erra elevated their music to a new level with Neon. Every single song has its own nice feel to it. I love the duality of the dirty vocals and the regular vocals, and almost every song on this album is just a smash hit. Breach is still my favorite song on this album. It's the first song on the album. I just love that. I just love it so much. I love it so much. A lot of these songs blend together well too, and that's one of those things that I judge albums on, is if the songs work together in the order that they're on the album. Because, like I said, like 3 seconds ago, Jesus fucking Christ, I like to listen to songs in the albums, just going through them, and that's what I do while I'm driving around at work or anything like that. And when an album doesn't sound right with the songs placed in a specific order, that's where I start to go, I'm kind of not enjoying this as much as I wish I could. I can't really see any fault in this album. I just don't think that it's as strong as the last 3 albums on this list, but Neon by Erra is definitely one that I would recommend to anyone who wants to hear some nice post-hardcore heavy metal that has a nice combination of everything that you love from Erra. And coming in at number 3 is Tiny Moving Parts and their album Swell. Hey, see, I'm pretty swell. Swell has my favorite album cover this year. It's just so unique and stands out so much. And all of the songs on this album are written so well. I think there's only 2 songs on this album that I go, they're a little bit less than the other ones. But for the most part, every song on here is just really, really good. I don't know how to describe it. Their songs are very uplifting and inspiring. The lyrics are very well written, and the guitarist, who is also the singer, plays exceptionally well, along with the drummer, who also plays crazy good. Of course, saw them live twice, just like with the Wonder Years and all those other bands that I've talked about in my podcast episode when I talked about concerts. Humble plug. But I feel like they had one of the stronger performances out of all the bands that I saw. And to be honest with you, they're moving up on the chain of favorite bands just by this album. Every song on here, like I've said before, they all kind of mesh together and go well together, well enough that they all have a unique sound and feel to them, but they sound similar enough that you go, oh, okay, this is Tiny Moving Parts' Swell album. And coming in at number 2 is The Wonder Years with Sister Cities. Sister Cities is an impressive album, and it's literally a story in song. Like, I can't explain it any better than that. Every song has a point to it. Every song has a story behind it. Every song is part of a travel that the singer has had throughout the world, and it's really all comes down to just a love for music and a love for just being alive. And this album is just so incredibly well done and so incredibly good that I wish that they had put the songs in a better order. Like, I love almost every song on this album, but the order of the songs is kind of strange to me. When they were playing the album live, they had the songs mixed up a little bit, and I thought it flowed much, much better in the live performance than it does on the album. And that's the only reason that this is number 2 on the list, because every song on this has such deep meaning. It makes you feel something. It makes you want to do something. And I feel like if they had just put the songs in a different order, I might have liked this album just a 1% more. But yes, it comes in at number 2. It's amazing. We saw them live twice this year, and both times was really great. And if you haven't checked them out, you should. They're not like heavily screamo, anything like that. I mean, this is one of the lighter bands on this list, but they definitely have the best musical outlook out of all the bands. What the fuck am I saying? Hey, coming in at number one, and this was a really tough choice because I listened to this album at the beginning of the year when it came out, and then I didn't really say anything to anyone. I kind of kept it to myself a little bit that I love this album, and Nick is probably like shaking his head like, what the fuck is he about to say? But my number 1 album this year is from Hail the Sun, and the album is called Mental Knife. This album, out of all the albums on this list, has the best flow, the best songwriting, the best musical talent out of any band that's on this list. They kind of have a Circle Survive feel to them, but it's a much heavier at parts. And that's why I like him so much, because when I see Circle Survive live, he does more of they sound a little bit heavier than what they do on the album. And this is exactly what I wanted to hear from them. But Hail to the Sun elevated everything about the sound and the songwriting, and it really, really worked so fucking well in this album. Every song meshes together so well. It has such a great feel to it. They're all ordered in a way that makes you just want to keep listening and listening. And another nice thing is this album isn't too long. This album is probably less than an hour long, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I don't know the exact time right now. But it doesn't feel like it. Like, you get halfway through the album and you're like, oh shit, I'm halfway through the album already. It's just such a perfect album, and it combines those soft vocals with the heavier parts and the backing guitars and stuff like that. Like, everyone just does such a great job during this album, and I feel like it deserves its number 1 spot. And maybe not a lot of people know about this album, maybe not a lot of people have heard of this band, but they've definitely come a long way from the first time I heard them on, like, I think it was their 3rd studio album released or whatever it was. And their last album, even though it was good, I say this one definitely 10 times better than that album. If you've never heard of Hail the Sun, check them out. They're amazing. All these bands on this list are amazing. I mean, I'm not trying to pick favorites here, but this album was the one that made me go, yep, that is my number 1 from the moment that I started listening to the album again, and it just rose above all these other ones. Some honorable mentions. We have Time the Valuator, How Fleeting, How Fragile. That's a great album. It's a great concept album. Lots of weird things happening during it, so if you kind of like more of a poppy edge to your metal, you might like that one. Unearth released their album Extinction, (S), close parentheses, which is a really nice album. It's different from their last one. It's a lot heavier and more droning. I'm not sure what to say about this one, but it is a good album. Capstan, In Wake of Our Discord, was an EP they released. Very, very good EP. Very, very good. Definitely tells a story. Trash Boat, with their album Crown Shyness, was an album that I really, really enjoyed this year. Just didn't make it onto the list because I didn't feel like it was as good as the ones on the list. Ghost released a new album called Prequel. I enjoyed it enough, but I didn't enjoy every single song on the album like a lot of these bands. Also, Dead Like Juliet, which is a smaller band, released an album called Stranger Shores. It's definitely a little bit lighter than their last album, but it's still a very, very good album. Ailstorm released Captain Morgan's Revenge, the 10-year anniversary remaster. It's very well done. If you haven't heard Ailstorm, they're pirate metal. This is the band that got me into live performances, you would say. This is one of my first live performances where I was right there in front of the band. So, yeah, definitely check them out. If you like pirates and you like metal, oh, it's the perfect combination. And then also, Between the Buried and Me released Automata 1 and 2, but I only liked 1. So I would recommend that one to anyone who likes longer, melodic, but also strangely perverted songs that the singer like goes from to really, really fast. I almost forgot. State Champs also released an album called Living Proof. I felt like this album was a little bit too poppy for me, but I still enjoyed the songs and enjoyed them live, so it gets an honorable mention because, hey, thanks, guys. or good work. What? Yeah, I know them personally. Like, hey, your guys' album was a little bit too poppy for me, but good work, guys. Good job. All right. Enough of that shite, mate. Get into the video game news. What you doing? Get into the fucking video game news before I fucking pop you with a fucking cap in your ass. All right. Hold on there, shorty. So, first up in the news today, we have the Destiny developers. They're popping champagne. They're cheering. They're announcing their release from Activision. They're breaking up. It's a huge breakup. There's tears shed. But enjoy, because Bungie has gone away from Activision. They've said, fuck you. And they are going solo, except maybe possibly partnering with Microsoft in the future. Who knows? We'll see. But essentially what happened is Bungie just said, fuck it, we're leaving. They didn't like what Activision was doing with their company, and both parties agreed to not continue their contract. And Bungie says, let's take Destiny. We're taking Destiny with us. You can't have them. And then they rode their horse off into the sunset. But apparently the relationship between Bungie and Activision has been strained for a long time. As you know, I'm a huge Destiny 2 and Destiny 1 hater. I feel like both those games are about the same. There's really no difference between them. I'm not going to go off for an hour. All right, everyone knows that I'm not a fan of Destiny 2. Listen to any single Chronocast that I did. Destiny 2 pops up and I go on a 30-minute rant. But that's beside the point. But employees are reportedly cheering, popping champagne, and I think we have a man in the field. And now, join us over the phone. We have a man in the field right now. It's ShinobiNando. He's at Bungie headquarters right now, and he's going to give us the scoop on all the champagne popping going on at Bungie headquarters. Shinobi, can you hear me?
Hello, Yemmy? Hello?
Can you hear me, Shinobi?
Just about. It's absolute pandemonium over here.
Is the champagne popping?
Hello, Yemmy? I can't. Everything's crazy over here. Everyone's celebrating. Developers, fans, even people who hated the series are rejoicing on the fact that Bungie has finally split from Activision and is now publishing their own games. Yemmy, are you there?
Can you hear me? Maybe you should walk outside. Maybe you should get away from the festivities.
I think I need to walk outside and get away from the festivities. Give me a moment.
That is a great idea.
Hello, Yemmy. Yes, as I just said, everyone here is celebrating in Seattle as Bungie has announced they are separating from Activision, one of the worst publishers in existence. They have shed the shackles of their evil overlords and now are publishing their own intellectual properties. This will give them a new direction and a new lease of creative freedom, unlike we've never seen.
Was Activision really that bad?
They wanted all the money, Yemmy. They weren't happy with just some of the money or most of the money. They wanted all the monies.
All the money.
They only earned $4 billion from loot boxes, and that wasn't enough for the CEO.
But that was actually my next point. Do you think loot boxes are going to be axed from the Destiny franchise?
Unfortunately, Yemmy, I think that they're too integrally built into Destiny 2 for us to see any improvements this time. However, I am hopeful for Destiny 3, where microtransactions may no longer play a part in the grand scheme of things.
You're speaking my language right now, Shinobi. You're buttering me up. So, what does this split mean for Bungie? What's the biggest thing that's going to happen out of this?
It means what we all hoped. It's complete creative freedom for themselves. There's a vicious and vile rumor that isn't backed up by any evidence over the internet, not at all. Former employees have never come out and secretly gone into Reddit or anything, but basically said that the bulk of the main story was axed, and it's you have to take it with a pinch of salt, I suppose, because it's never been verified. Mm-hmm. But the Activision were too afraid that Destiny was too much RPG and not enough Call of Duty shooter, hence why we got such a disjointed first game. So I think if we have not such a big overlord publisher basically coming along and going, oh, that looks good, just stop doing all of that and do exactly what we tell you, and that'll be fine. And one of the biggest things I think it means is it opens up for freedom. A lot of people are joking on Twitter that Xbox kind of casually came in and immediately went, "Oh, hi." And I don't think that means, in the sense some people are worried that they go back under Microsoft. It's more, it will give them the freedom to do things like crossplay, finally, which was obviously they had multi-billion-dollar deals with Sony, with Activision, not Bungie, stating that, like, they can't even release DLC at the same time for over a year. So PC and Xbox players have to wait over a year, which is unheard of in other games. I mean, even Call of Duty, it's only about a month for the map packs, let alone an entire freaking year.
Yeah.
So
really.
yeah, I think I think it's going to allow them to basically take the franchise in the direction they've always wanted to go, instead of having to like make compromises. Like, okay, we want to do this kind of story expansion to win back the fans, which is going to cost X amount of money, but we've added in a microtransaction store to cover it up. They're basically bribing Activision.
Yeah. So do you think that? I mean, obviously Bungie was a part of Microsoft before, and they were working on the Halo games. Obviously they broke away from that and made, like, Destiny is kind of like a Halo-ish kind of game, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
It's it's in the same vein, you would say. Do you think they're going to try a new IP, or do you think they're going to go ahead and go with a Destiny 3?
I think to be honest, they will go with a Destiny 3. I think though, whereas a Destiny 3 under Activision would have been looked at very poorly, because they would have been like, come on, I bought this game, I bought this expansion. I think people now want a Destiny 3 because they know that a Destiny 3 completely, under from the umbrella of Activision Blizzard is going to be something completely different, and the game that maybe we always were expecting Destiny to be in the first place. So if anything, I think it's reinvigorated a lot of curiosity, if not fandom. I mean, surely even people like you were saying, even people like yourself are like, okay, Destiny not under Activision could be a good game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what I want Bungie to do is show me something now. Show me that it was Activision pulling the strings, telling them to do all these terrible things, having them reuse assets and put in loot boxes. Show me that they're a different company. They're not Activision's, puppet.
But it was, that's what I mean. When I made the joke before, it was known, because like Call of Duty made $750 million, and they went, oh, that's a bit disappointing. And its opening week, Destiny 2 and Forsaken brought back a massive amount, millions of players back to the franchise. And again, they went, oh, that's not really a lot of money, is it? $500 million, not really that much. So Activision are like, I know, well, some people would argue other developers or publishers are far worse, but they are notoriously greedy, like really greedy.
Yeah.
So
I think we all know that.
Yeah. So I think a big part of the Tess Everest store and a lot of the public event, not the public events, sorry, the seasonal events that came out last year, Festival of the Cost and everything, as it was called by the fandom, you won't feel those like fingertips in the pie, if you will, like pushing Destiny to be like, can you just, like even Iron Banner. I don't know how much you know about Iron Banner, but they released an emote that was like $11. It was ridiculous.
Holy
and
crap.
that's a very, literally one emote. And that's I think that's a very Activision thing.
Sounds a little bit like Fallout 76, to be honest with you.
I think it's worse, to be honest. I think even Fallout 76 don't charge that badly.
Well, hey, I don't want to keep you from the festivities any longer, but it looks like we're going to have a bright future in the Destiny experience. Thank you for coming on YemmyCast, ShinobiNando. I said his name correctly this time, so you can't knock me for that. But make sure you guys check him out on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Links will be down in the description. So hey, go back and enjoy that party. Pop some champagne for me, please.
Oh, I definitely will. Oh my God, is that a giant Guardian float? I'm out of here. I gotta go.
All right, take it easy. All right, well, hey, thanks again to ShinobiNando for his words of wisdom. Okay, so first up for the rest of the news, there is a new Switch case that protects your console, and it gives it a proper D-pad at the same time. If you look at the pictures, which I am showing now, hint, hint, editor, which is myself, the D-pad is actually kind of elevated, and it looks more like a N64 or a GameCube or anything that looks like that. The D-pad looks like that, and I think that's going to be exceptionally easier to use than the normal buttons they have, especially if you're one of those people who plays fast and furiously. But the case is shock resistant and has multiple layers. Actually, it's just 2 layers, one on the top, one on the bottom. But the release date for the project hasn't been announced yet. It's supposedly coming around in spring 2019, and it will be set for $20. Wow, that's actually a great price. Does it actually work? Is it actually shock resistant? Only time will tell when those people buy Switches just to drop them off of buildings with this case on it. Wow, rip 1,000 some Switches for those sweet, sweet fews. Alright, the episode 3 of Telltale's The Walking Dead, the final season is now out everywhere. This article obviously says on Switch because this is where I got it from, but it is on Switch too, guys. And the final album has also gotten a release date. So, do you like The Walking Dead, the final season? Well, here you go. Episode 3 is out now. So we're going to see a continuation of Clementine's story with her little friend. I don't remember his name, which is kind of concerning because I played all 4 of the games. But anyways, the last episode, the actual final episode is coming out the 26th of March. And remember, this comes after Telltale closed and they were picked up by Skybound Games. So finally, we've got number 3 out right now, made by a different developer. So if you guys have played it, let me know in the comments. I have not played it yet. But episode 3 is called Broken Toys, and Clementine is going to war. So, his name's AJ. Jesus Christ, Yemmy. Anyways, if you like Walking Dead, here you go. Episode 3 out now. Episode 4 has been announced. All right, moving right along. Hey, next up we got some Smash Brothers news. So apparently there's a new glitch that's been found in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate where you can make King K. Rool's crown giant. How do you make it giant? There's apparently a glitch somewhere in the mix where Yoshi swallows King K. Rool when he throws his crown, and his crown all of a sudden becomes huge when it lands on the ground. Now, I don't know how many people have tested this, but there are 2 videos out now showing how to do it. Very, very strange. A very strange glitch to find, but a satisfying one indeed. So if you ever want to see a full detailed version of King K. Rool's crown, here you go. Just to have Yoshi swallow him while he's throwing his crown. And hopefully it works for you. But yeah, for almost no reason, it just expands. Expanded dong. Alright, remember that Isabel can also have game-breaking bug glitches too. Remember the infinite Waluigi glitch from YemmyCast, like number 3. Fun stuff. Humble plug again. Alright. We're looking at new Super Mario's U Deluxe, which launched on the Switch last week, and the sales are 56% higher than the Wii U numbers. That's crazy. It's even better than what this article thought a few days ago. Luckily, I didn't do this a few days ago because they said 24% higher, but it's actually 56 higher than normal. I bought the game. Did you buy the game? But yeah, rolling in from the UK charts has shown that, dang, Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, the stupidest fucking name ever. I get pissed off when I say this name, has released. And the numbers are impressive. Wow. So Super Mario Bros. U was originally released in 2012, and it didn't really even chart. It didn't really get up that high in the sales, but now, I mean, it's almost at the top now. I mean, it's amazing how well it's doing right now. So does this mean that the next definitive edition of a game is going to sell even better? Who knows? But obviously the Switch has sold more consoles, it's moved more games than ever before, and obviously we're seeing that now with Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Hopefully this means that Super Mario Maker Deluxe will come out, or Super Mario Maker Switch, or Super Mario fuck you in the ass. This game is on the Switch, you dumb cunt. Just look at the fucking box. Damn it. What a strange article. Why did it say that? Hey, remember the gaming grandma from the last episode? Well, her wish came true, and she has a Switch. It's been crowdfunded. She got a Switch, a Pro Controller, and let's go Pikachu. That's pretty insane. But what she did recently is she took us all on a trip around her town. She has more than 3,580 hours, remember? So she took everyone on a video tour of her town on the Twitter page. I think it's her daughter's Twitter page. Not her daughter, but her granddaughter. Jesus Christ, can you talk? But they went around the city, showed everyone, and actually she has included a code to visit her. So hopefully the trolls don't find that, and people who are just downright disgusting, Mike. Just fucking disgusting! But she seems like a nice lady, and I think she's received a nice gift from the people of the world. She's got a Switch. Hopefully when the next Animal Crossing comes out, she'll be getting that too. And I think the new one's going to be called New Leaf. So, yeah, she'll be getting back to work on a new game, hopefully, in the future. Next up, this one's kind of for Callus from Game Consolers. If he's in the chat, please speak up, Carrot Chomper. Can you complete Super Mario Odyssey without walking? Is this actually a question that we're asking? I know Callus has been trying to go through the game without collecting a single coin, but this is something entirely different. Like, holy crap. So, with this platforming game, I mean, obviously movement's a big thing. You're throwing your hat, jumping on things, whatever. So this guy is trying to go through the game without stepping on the ground and walking, running, doing anything like that. And this has got to be incredibly difficult to do. He has put up a video, and so far it's been pretty impressive. I don't want to spoil anything, but he's gotten pretty far in the game so far. Jesus Christ, I just watched a little bit of that video. Holy crap, he is very detailed in how he explains how he's doing each level. I mean, there's parts in this game you'd think that would be impossible, but he gets through them just by his ingenious. So, link to the video will be down below, I think. Hopefully I'll remember to do that. Hey, remember to do that, Yemmy, while editing this fucking video. But it's pretty impressive. I would recommend looking at that. And Callus, hey, maybe you'll have a new challenge once you're done with your coinage. That was a quick article because I didn't have much to say about it. Anyways, we're moving on to the figures that are being shown off for the new Metroid Prime game, and the first one is Meta Ridley. Meta Ridley. Holy fucking hell! Can I talk, please? So, if you don't know who Ridley is, you might know him from being destroyed by him in Super Smash Brothers. But he's one of the main protagonists, a giant dinosaur dragon type thing that flies around. This statue is freaking amazing, dude. And there's more to come in the future, which there might be a Samus suit slashed by Ridley in the future, but the first one has been hinted at, and it is Ridley, and they've shown it's a little blurry, but they showed off what it will look like, and that is freaking sick. So if you're a collector and you love Metroid, this might be the game for you. All right, time to shit on Fallout 76 some more, because it's just continuing to be just the butt end of a joke, as the title says there. I'm not making that up myself, but apparently some players have discovered an in-game dev room with unreleased items and a human NPC. Oh, the game just keeps on getting better, doesn't it? But these kind of rooms are common in most games, but most developers take them out and or release the stuff that's inside them. But Bethesda's game doesn't have any NPCs, so when you find one, it's not going to do anything, but he's there, he's chilling, and you won't be able to see him unless you get to this point in the game doing this thing. I don't know what exactly they did because there's no evidence on this in video form for me right now, but I'm going to definitely check into it a little bit more. But reportedly, people are finding out that these rooms are still in the game with new fucking things, unreleased items, and NPCs just kind of in storage, you know? They're like mannequins. They're just standing there just doing nothing. So that tells me that there's evidence that this game was supposed to be a fully fleshed out open world NPC, NPC filled game, and they just decided to go with the other option and make it a open world PvP game. I don't know what Bethesda was thinking with this game. I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm starting to get I might have a stroke with how many articles are coming out about Fallout 76. So let's move on to a good game, Spider-Man on the PS4. They're saying something Fantastic Four related might be heading there soon. So does this mean a new chapter in the DLC or a new DLC story in general is coming out? So there is a I think I mentioned this before, but the Sam Raimi outfit is now out for Spider-Man for free. The game has been selling amazingly, and recently Marvel hosted a live stream dedicated to Fantastic Four. So who knows if some heroes are going to show up in a new DLC plot for the game. Something fantastic is coming this way soon was on the screen as well. So, either they're hinting at the movie that's coming out or they're hinting at the game, and I think they're more leaning toward the game. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that there's Fantastic Four DLC because that means that Victor Von Doom. Yeah, it's Victor Von Doom. He could come into the game and really mess things up in the city. I think that'd be kind of cool. What about you guys? Do you want to see Fantastic Four? Do you want to see the Thing's big rock penis? Let me know in the comments below. F in chat, please. Oh my gosh, this is a really strange article to me. But Rockstar and the Real World Pinkerton Agency is in a legal dispute over Red Dead 2. Pinkerton Consulting and Investigations is a real-life detective agency founded all the way back in 1850. It was then known as Pinkerton National Detective Agency. The company was apparently very active in tracking down real outlaws at the time. And of course, what do you know? Red Dead 2 features the Pinkerton agents that attempt to bring down Dutch. So for whatever reason, the Pinkerton Corporation's like, yep, this shit's ours. Take all their money. So Rockstar says that Pinkertons don't even feature very much over the course of the game. I wouldn't know, I haven't completed the game yet, but they appear a handful of time in numerous missions, so they don't think that the Pinkerton Corporation really has that big of a case here, but apparently they've already taken some money from films like the Long Riders, the TV show Deadwood, and even Elton John's song Ballad of a Well-Known Gun. How do these people sleep at night? Like, seriously. We're the Pinkerton Corporation. It's been over 200 fucking years, and we're gonna take our goddamn money. It's rightfully ours because they say the word Pinkerton in the song. They say the word Pinkerton in this game. There's a Pinkerton in this game. Fuck off. Hey, guess what? The Uncharted movie is apparently back on. This is the movie that may be made, may still not be made, but as you recall, the director that departed the last Uncharted movie, Sean Levy, he went on to direct whatever, I don't even know what but the person who might be taking over the Uncharted movie now made 10 Cloverfield Lane, and it was Dan Trachtenberg. So we'll see if he stays on this, but also the Tom Holland might be in this movie. He plays Spider-Man, so we'll see if this movie is going to still be made. But I think Tom Holland's a good pick for a young dapper Nathan Drake. But who knows? So Sony hopes to start filming this movie before the end of the year. I thought they were already fucking filming, but apparently not. They must have scrapped all that. They were like, fuck, we deleted the hard drives to make way for the Order 1886. We really fucked up on this one. So we'll see. They're confident. They're quote unquote confident that the movie is going to be released in 2020. But hey, who knows? It's been canned several times before. Hey, Battlefield 5, the updates are coming. They're coming fast. They're coming hard. There's going to be more updates coming out in the future, which is going to include a new rush mode, a new grand operation, and lots of more stuff. But for now, the update that's coming out currently is adding Squad Conquest, which is a smaller version of Conquest with 16 players, which is kind of weird to me. Hopefully they slimmed the maps down a little bit. New weapons like the ZK-383 SMGs coming out, the Model 1944 semi-automatic rifle, and the M1922 MMG, which is a bipod accessible machine gun. Oh my gosh. And they're also fixing time to death and death experiences, which is one of those things that really was a downer for this game so far. Too long to die, and the deaths just had so many bugs in it. There's times where I couldn't respawn because the game just glitched out. I couldn't do anything. So I would just lay on the ground dying for 10 minutes waiting for something to happen. This is good news for people who thought the death time was too long. Now they're shortening it. Now they're going to make improvements on it. So Canes, get back on Battlefield. Hey, last thing today in the news. The top downloads of 2018 on the PlayStation Store.
Yemmy, what about the PlayStation Drop?
Well, the PlayStation Drop can go suck a dick. It finally came back this week, and there's nothing on the list that even remotely sounds useful or fun to play, so they can go walk away in the walk of shame, the moonwalk of shame. Woohoo! So the number one downloaded game for the PS4 was Black Ops 4. Wow, who didn't see that coming? Paid game. I'll say paid game because Fortnite would have beat it if it was in this list. But the top bought and downloaded game was Black Ops 4, and right below that was Red Dead 2, Marvel Spider-Man, God of War, Grand Theft Auto 5 still in the mix, NBA 2K19, FIFA 19, Monster Hunter World, Far Cry 5, and then finally, at the bottom, Madden NFL 19. Still one of the top downloaded games of the fucking year. That's insane. That is fucking insane. But hey, cool news for Black Ops 4, I guess. I don't know. Lots of people still love that game. The top PSVR game was Job Simulator, which really raises my eyebrows. I can't believe Beat Saber or Superhot didn't beat that. Or the Rick and Morty game. Of course, the top free-to-play game was Fortnite, and right below that was H1Z1. Two Battle Royale games that give you testicular cancer. The top PS Vita game was God of War Collection, PS Vita. Whoa, way to jack yourselves off, Sony. PS4 theme, the top downloaded PS4 theme was Monster Hunter World. And the top PlayStation Classic game was San Andreas. And right below that, Bully. Wow, what a great time we're all having today. But yeah, that's all the news. I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else? No? Okay. Thank you very much for everyone for coming by and listening. And if you're in the premiere, I appreciate you so much. The people who are in the premiere are the true Yemmy fans. I appreciate you guys in the regular chat too. Don't think I didn't notice you. There is one more piece of business that I would like to talk about today. And actually, this week was the 5th anniversary of a death of a very good friend of mine. He actually started the first band I was in. He was the lead guitarist of that band. So it's been 5 years already, and it's just I thought that I would not be thinking about him as much, but I feel like every week I'm thinking of a time that we had together, and it's really unfortunate that his life was cut short so early and because of something so stupid like heroin. So I just wanted to kind of just say, thank you everyone who, have stuck with me and with this journey that I'm having on YouTube, and I'll never forget where I came from, and obviously I'm never going to forget my friend who unfortunately passed away 5 years ago, and I would really appreciate it if you guys checked out the live performance we had at a small venue. The videos are on YouTube. The band is called Crank. It was called Crank, and it was one of my favorite parts of time in my life, just playing in a band with him. And he was such a gifted and talented guitarist, and I fucking miss him, I still can't believe it's been fucking 5 years. I fucking miss him every week, And I just wish that, you always have regrets, but I really wish that I had spent more time with him after high school had ended. But, I still remember the day that I, got a call from someone saying that he had passed, and I still remember the day that, he was buried, and I still remember where the plot of land is that he was buried in. His passing was the first person that I knew, and that has died in my life, and it's just, it's just so sad. I wish that I shouldn't say I wish anything, but I miss him a lot, and I'm very appreciative for the life I have and for the people who are in my life, and I'm very appreciative that I was able to be friends with him, and that I got to know him, and for the impact that he had on my life and many others. So I would like to take the rest, just a minute of silence at the end of the podcast here, just to remember him. And after a minute's up, I'm going to play my song that we made. One of my favorite songs that we made, and that's going to end out the podcast. And I'd really appreciate it if you guys could stick around for that. I really appreciate everyone. Like I said, I appreciate everyone who comes to my videos and watches them, and everyone who has been there for me, whether it be online or in real life. It's obviously hard to lose someone in your life, and I appreciate everyone. I can't stress that enough. But yeah, I thank you everyone for showing up. And as I requested, can you guys please just in chat, just I just want a moment of silence for maybe about 30 seconds to a minute, and then I'll play us out with a song in his honor, and just remembering his life. Thank you.